Yo, it is Stocks and Bars, the stock market hip hop podcast, the only place you'll find finance mixed with hip hop. And today is the Cliff Notes episode. Last episode, it was me and my guy Dex Mcbean. Shout out my guy Dex Mcbean. Make sure you follow him on IG for all financial content that he provides. We had a great conversation on there. We talked about his album, which is out right now. Make sure that you go get that. We talked about his first business. We talked about hip hop. We talked about his relationship with money, what he has learned, and so much more. So make sure you go and check out parts 1 and 2 of that awesome conversation that we had. Now with Dex, I reached out to him on Instagram. This is how you expand your Empower empire. It's always going to be your immediate circle around you. However, you can expand that by simply reaching out to other people that you want to do business with, that you want to network with. And you can do that simply just by sending messages. That's how connected the world is now. So expanding your Empower empire just takes a little bit of effort. I can tell you how I did mine. I stepped out a little bit. This was 2022. I haven't been outside in a while, but I'm going to change that very soon. I hate the word but. And. Substitute that with and, all right? I haven't been outside and I'm going to change that. See how much of a difference that makes. FinCon is when I stepped out in 2022. I met a lot of connections there. You've heard a lot of them on this podcast. Twitter, where I very first started to expand my Empower empire, when I did not know anybody in my circle that knew how to invest or anything about investing or had the conversations on to invest. I found it via Twitter. Also went to LinkedIn. I found my mentor, Greg Clay. Gregory Clay was the guy who helped me establish my professional ways. I found him on LinkedIn, and that's how I grew that way. Instagram, as we talked about with Dex. So many ways that you could do it. If you are hesitant, just send a message. Worst thing that can happen is they say nothing or they say no. But that energy is out there and it's going to likely come back to you. So take the risk. But what we want to do here, I said but again. And what we want to do here is we want to expand upon a topic that we discussed in the last episode. So me and Dex are rappers, right? And we invest. So what I wanted to do in this episode is I want to talk about other rappers that invest. And I'm going to give you 5 rappers that invest that you may or may not know. And this is going to be a quick list. We're going to make this just like we do for all Cliff Notes episodes. But before I get into that, and this is an active thing that we got to do here. And when I get into that, I want to tell you why I invest. You got to know your why. I'm going to share with you my why if you are struggling to understand what your why is. Why I invest. There is no one coming to save you. I've made a post on my Instagram highlighting this. No one is coming to save you. No presidential candidate, all right, I want y'all to understand that, is coming to save you. No government official is coming to save you. You gotta save you. Your future self is going to come into your present to save you. And you have to understand that principle there. No one's coming to save you. You gotta put in the work to get the results you want. Understand that, and you will get much further. That is why I invest. So I don't have to continue to do what the normal society is saying, which what we have to do, which is go in, slave 40 hours, and hope it works out. Nah, I'm taking full control of that right now. Know why you invest. Now, let's get into our 5 hip-hop artists that invest. All right, number 1 on the list is my guy, my favorite artist, Nas. Nas invests. Nas has taken his platform to start using it to invest. So here's a couple notable things that he's invested in. All right, we've all heard of the Ring doorbell. Nas was an early investor in that. Bevel, that is a hair product He is an early investor in that. Lyft is an early investment that Nas was involved in as well. Dropbox. We've heard of Dropbox. What you didn't hear is that Nas was an early investor of it. Coinbase. Coinbase is an early investment that Nas has been a part of as well. So that's number one right there. Those are 5 things that he's been involved in. Number 2, Chamillionaire. We haven't heard of Chamillionaire in a long time. I did a post on my Instagram as well highlighting his investment endeavors. Number 1 on there was Maker Studios. That was bought out, and they paid a handsome amount of money for that. I ain't trying to count your pockets out there, but that's what the news says. Number 2 out there, Cruise. He was an early investor in Cruise, and Chamillionaire was also part investor in Lyft. So Nas and Chamillionaire have that tie. There are 2 rappers right there who invest, Nas and Chamillionaire. Number 3 on the list, Juicy J. 3-6 Mafia in the house right now. Juicy J is invested in Epic Games. If you're not familiar with that, your kids are. He is an early investor in that. Robinhood, the platform that took the world by storm and helped revolutionize what you know for brokerage accounts. Robinhood. Core Water. Core Water is an investment that Juicy J is involved in. And then Juicy J is a heavy real estate investor. So Juicy J, shout out to you, sir. Thank you for making hip hop better with your investments. Number 4 on the list, very familiar name, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is an early investor in Reddit. If you were not familiar with that, there you go. Snoop Dogg's also invested in Robinhood, so he is a partner with Juicy J in that early investment. And then, of course, we all know what Snoop Dogg does, right? Snoop Dogg is definitely an investor in cannabis, so we know how Snoop Dogg gets down. That's 4. For the 5th and final artist that we have as an investor is none other than Jay-Z. We all know Jay-Z is an investor. Jay-Z is a very well-known investor. And for the record, he has Tidal, which we already know. Okay, he was an early investor in Uber. If you did not know that, Jay-Z was an early investor there. Ace of Spades. We know a lot of hip-hop artists have invested themselves in some type of spirit or wine or alcohol of some sort. Ace of Spades is the one that Jay-Z is notable for. Once he had a rift with Cristal, he decided to do his own. And the Brooklyn Nets. We know about this, right? Jay-Z was a heavy investor in the Brooklyn Nets. He has since sold his majority stake in that. So those are 5 hip-hop artists that I wanted to bring to your attention that are also investors. And speaking of investors, let's talk about the stock market. We are sitting at record highs. It is notable that September is historically a bearish month. However, in my chat group, I continue to tell people how that's not going to happen this time around. And the reason why I said that is because, you know, I'm a chart reader. I am a chart reader, and I saw the patterns in place for the market to continue to move higher. And it did just that. So September, we were at record highs. And then here we are in October, sitting still near those record highs. You can play back to the last podcast how I said those record highs would likely continue for the rest of the year. And that is not changing. So what do we do about that? There's stocks out there, right? Plenty of stocks that you can take advantage of if you're an individual stock purchaser. And there's some things in your portfolio that you feel need to be addressed. The one that I like for you is, I'm going to bring it back, Roku. We talked about it before. It was in the, I want to say late 50s, so 58, 59 or something like that when we talked about it. Now it is close to almost 80. It's like 77, 78 or so like that. So it had a nice run. But I think there is more to go. I still like Roku. I think Roku is going to easily make its way to 100 before the end of the year. I like it. And if you're not a fan of individual stocks in your portfolio, doesn't need that type of check, and you need some type of diversification, I still like the regulars, right? The VOOSPY. That is going to always be there for purchase. So if those are something that you may like, go ahead, check out your charts, check out how they're performing, check out your own portfolio, see if it's in need of anything or help balance it out. And those are things that I like, that I definitely say have a good chance of moving higher. So check it out if you feel your portfolio needs a little spruce. All right. That's it for the Cliff Notes. Appreciate you checking me out. Make sure you go to YouTube, type in Stocs and Hip Hop. That is me. Stocs and Bars podcast, video formats. You'll find it there. So hit that subscribe. You'll get all future updates there. If you like what you hear right now, hit that subscribe or whatever it is that you got to do in your podcast land, and make sure that you can get continuous episodes fed to you when these get dropped. I appreciate the support. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. And now it's time for the bars. Yo, Mobb Deep, let me put finance to this one too. Let's go. It's my mission to prove how hip-hop's investing, and I give you the tools to give y'all direction. The 5 rappers I use to give y'all suggestions, they all took what they knew to live life as best as possible. Take advantage of now, cause every second the clock can move. Only talking positivity in the stock to choose. What you hearing from me could be a shock to you. Live life with one goal in mind, and that's not to lose. It's Stocs and Bars, the Stock Market Hip Hop Podcast, the only place you'll find finance mixed with hip hop. If you enjoyed this, make sure you check out every single episode. Peace. Stocks and bars.